Greetings to you all. I'm Scuba Schuber, and today I unveil the ASICS Metaspeed Sky Plus Cherry Red Edition. With the Sky Paris just released, I managed to scoop up the Sky Plus on special, as we do, looking for deals on shoes that are new but not just released. For a lot of runners out there, a new shoe is a new shoe, and regardless of when you get to experience it, it remains new to you. Others can tell you about it, as I will mention here in this initial review, but until you experience the shoes for yourself, you don't get the same feeling. There are a lot of factors at play for new shoes to every runner, whether it be sizing, your weight, your height, your stride type, the foot landing type, your gender, pre-existing conditions, and the level of runner you actually are, so the speed that you can achieve, your cadence, turnover, and the distances that you're actually running. That's why with every review, no matter how good or bad a viewer may perceive them, there should be something you can take away from it to narrow down whether to try or fly on giving them a go. Usually when I do an initial review, I haven't put much into the shoe. However, in this instance, I've run an hour 35-minute half marathon, as well as a sub 20-minute 5K in them for a quicker clip analysis and to test their range. In addition to my marathon contenders mentioned in my last video, the Hoka Rocket X2, the Mizuno Wave Rebellion Pro version 1, and the Puma Fast R Nitro Elite version 1, these shoes at full review with my tests will complete my shoe reviews going into the Hobart Marathon. I will decide which shoes I will run in the marathon in my last episode prior to the race. Now I am a mere 2 weeks away, or 14 days if you will, before the sub 3 hour 20-minute attempt. With my last upload being a calming share of running over the Gateway Bridge in Brisbane, I'll retrace my steps back across the previous fortnight, as a lot has occurred in that time. The first Saturday of this time period, I ran a trail park run at Sirame Winery. I managed to finish second and chip away a bit of time to complete my second course PB in 2 weeks. I decided not to add any extra Ks that Saturday, as I had entered the Sri Chinmoy half marathon on the Sunday the very next day. Instead, I had a magnesium float at City Cave, and I went into Sunday thinking an hour 35 half would not only be a good performance test of the Sky Plus shoes, but also a good litmus test leading towards the marathon. I hit the target on the nose, even after starting a bit quicker than I should have, finishing 8th overall in the half, and recovered quite well after it. After the next week of training on the Saturday, I returned to Bribie Island and completed another course PP at SS Cooper Trail Parkrun. I managed also to add another 9k to the parkrun around the quiet, calm streets of Bribie that I hadn't explored before. After a quick dip and some brekkie, I returned home and had a relaxed Saturday in preparation for the SEQ long course trail on Sunday at Daisy Hill. Sunday brought a new challenge to me, my longest trail run ever. Going into it, I had one thing on my mind: get through it without an incident. The last thing I wanted was an issue coming out of this just being 3 weeks out from the marathon. I'm happy to report I did successfully complete it without injury. A bit of DOMS followed, but I managed to swim that off the next morning. The hills in this one really slowed me down, but each time I managed to get going again, I got back to pace and averaged 5 minutes 15 per kilometre with over 450 metres of elevation across 20 kilometres, so I was happy with the result. This race was the last in the series, and I had planned to do this as part of my training, and I'm glad to say I got through it unscathed. This current weekend I returned to Berrinbar Parkrun, and I managed to record a huge course PB there and my fastest 5k for 2024 so far at 19 minutes and 36 seconds. I managed another 5k around this course and was super stoked with my result. This morning I backed up this with a planned 30 kilometre long run, my largest long run and the last one of my marathon training. With some organised company, I managed to get through this run at 5 minutes 13 per kilometre average. I followed that up with a remedial body massage, and then that brings me to this episode. With the events that I have completed over the past fortnight, I think I overplanned how high I was thinking I'd reach in these weeks initially in my marathon training plans, but I've enjoyed adding and testing speed in events and training to fine-tune my legs for whatever may come in Hobart. With the hills from the trail race and some added hills across my training weeks, I'm further conditioning the legs to handle that toughness, whether it be rises on the course or just lasting through the heaviness of the duration of a marathon. Taper begins this week, and I couldn't be happier that I no longer need to reach the heights of volume that I was. As far as high load and long runs is concerned, what's done is done. Where that places me come race day remains to be seen. Joke break time now. Here's some funny advice. Buy the best running shoes you can afford. Why? You'll thank yourself in the long run. And now to the initial review of the ASICS Metaspeed Sky Plus. These shoes start with 39mm in the heel and 34mm in the forefoot for a 5mm drop. Their weight is 7.2 ounces or 204 grams for a US men's size 9. Carbon plate is closer to the foot and creates a firmer feel than the forefoot stack suggests. These are the firmest feel of my 4 marathon options so far. For me, it puts these shoes in the shorter category. It may take some time to break these in, however. There are no real cutouts like the Mizuno and the Puma, so it is closer to comparison with the Hokas. The heel collar in this packs air holes and probably the most cushioned collar out of these race day options. Its wider base than the original inherently makes it feel more stable. I feel like the Hoka has more squish with less heel, obviously, where the Sky Plus has more bounce and more heel. They have a more airy upper than the original. Sky and Edge switch roles in this version. In the Sky Plus, this version is meant to favour runners who increase pace via stride length over cadence. That is definitely me being a 6'2" long-legged runner. I can confirm that I believe this is the case. The big difference for me in this shoe is that the carbon plate is closer to my foot, so it feels firmer than any of my other options, even though the forefoot stack appears larger than any of my options. So the protection is there, but the firmness feels as though it isn't, much like a low stack shoe. It reminded me of how I used to run 5Ks in the New Balance 1400 series back in the days before carbon plated shoes. That feeling is great for short distance, but for a marathon starts to make you think of the feeling versus the reward in the longer run. I had some foot soreness post-run for a day or two, but hey, if that's what you have normally after a half marathon anyway, then they must have done their job well. I must admit, in comparison, I love putting on the Mizuno Wave Rebellion Pro V1s for an evening run during my training after, as they felt so cushy. At the moment, I feel like the Sky Plus would be perfect as a 10 kilometer to 10 mile race shoe for me. From my firmness scale goes ASICS, Puma, Hoka, Mizuno currently. I've heard that the ASICS may take a bit of breaking in which case this shoe may develop further. A lot of people place the Puma in the short race category, but I think it can go the journey of a half or maybe even a marathon as well. For my size, I'm on the fence for the ASICS for the mara length at this stage. Maybe some more break-in before then may change my mind. I will let you know in its full review, including my shoe tests, rocking it, tipping it, bouncing it, and springing it. Now please enjoy the pics of the Sky Plus shoe sides. Top side. Toe side. Heel side. Base side. Open side. Blind side. Tongue side. front inside, heel inside. One last joke before I run. Did you hear about the wedding between two runners at the start of the race? They tied the knot before the line. That's all I have this episode. If you like the content, please step on the like button. That thumbs up gives me motivation for more, and also consider subscribing to not miss content uploads, and hit the PB bell if you want notifications for when new apps drop. Remember, the bottom of your soul helps you roll. Just take it, run day at a time. Bye for now.